Tan na ashaknot rodhum Ishvaraha na shaknot rodhum Ishvaraha tat srutva Bhagavan Ramo rundan apitiya shuchaha smaramstasya gunam stam stan na shaknodrodhum Ishvaraha tatsrutva Bhagavan Ramo rundan apidiya shuchaha smaramstasya gunam stam stan na shaknodrodhum Ishvaraha. Can you repeat the word to word meaning? Tat, this, the news of Sita Devi's entering the earth, Shrutva, hearing, Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Ramaha, Lord Ramachandra, Rundhan, trying to reject, Api, although, Dhiya, by intelligence, Shuchaha, grief, Smaran, remembering, Tasyaha, of her, Gunan, qualities, Tan, under different circumstances, Na, not, Ashaknot, was able, Rodhum, to check, Ishvaraha, although the Supreme Controller. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Abhaya Charanaravinda, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. After hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was certainly aggrieved. Although He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, He could not check His grief in transcendental love. Can kindly repeat the translation. After hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was certainly aggrieved. Although He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, upon remembering the exalted qualities of Mother Sita, He could not check His grief in transcendental love. Purport. Lord Ramachandra's grief at the news of Sita Devi's entering the earth is not to be considered material. In the spiritual world also there are feelings of separation, but such feelings are considered spiritual bliss. Grief in separation exists even in the absolute, but such feelings of separation in the spiritual world are transcendentally blissful. Such feelings are a sign of tasya prema vashyatva svabhava, being under the influence of Hladini Shakti and being controlled by love. In the material world, such feelings of separation are only a perverted reflection. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport and translation to Canto 9, Chapter 11, Text 16 of Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So in this verse, Shukadeva Goswami is describing how Lord Ramachandra became very grief-stricken, unhappy upon hearing the news of Mother Sita's entering the earth. Although he is the Supreme Lord, still upon remembering the divine qualities of Mother Sita, he could not control or check his grief in transcendental love. So, Prabhupada explains how even in spiritual world there is feelings of unhappiness or grief or pain because of separation of the beloved devotee or the beloved consort of the Lord. So such feelings are present even in spiritual world. They are not material. One may think that why the Lord is aggrieved or pained, just like a normal man, when he is separated from his friends, relatives, he becomes unhappy, disturbed. In fact, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explains, Dhiras tatra na mukhyati. One who is a dhira, he does not lament upon the loss of someone or something in this world. We always lament. Material life is such that it is always a lamentable condition. Actually, everything in this world is meant for lamentation. Every situation brings about lamentation in our life. Every relationship brings about lamentation. And one who is in bodily concept of life necessarily has to lament or become unhappy because he has no idea of spiritual existence. So he has to lament. Just like you have a very close friend, your parents, very close neighbors get separated for some reason, or they pass away, you will lament. So Krishna says, one who is a dhira or one who is sober does not lament. As far as passing away is concerned, Krishna says that anyway within this body, the soul is continuously passing, changing bodies from childhood to boyhood to youthhood to adult, and then it becomes old. So we already changed bodies so many times. And at the point of death, the soul quits this body and takes on another body. So there is nothing to lament. The soul is already constantly changing bodies. So what is there to lament then? The point of death also is changing body. But only difference is that at that point when he changes body, he is not going to be present in front of you. He may go elsewhere. So therefore that lamentation. Prabhupada says one place nicely, when you gave up your childhood body and then you accepted youthhood, so did you cry? Oh, I lost my child's body. You don't cry. You didn't cry. Similarly, when you became an adult, growing from youthhood, you didn't cry. So similarly, a sober person does not cry or lament when he gives up his body at the point of death. But this requires spiritual understanding, that I am a spirit soul different from this body. Otherwise, you are sure to lament unnecessarily. The Bhagavad Gita explains, one who laments unnecessarily is actually called a Shudra. So Shudra is not exactly a caste, nor Brahmana is exactly a caste. It is the state of one's existence, one's understanding. How does one conduct himself in his life makes him a Brahmana or a Shudra. Shudra means one who laments unnecessarily. One who laments for the body is called a Shudra. Brahmana means one who laments for the loss of the soul, not loss of the body. Just like people die, we all cry, right? That is Shudra. But then one who is a Brahmana laments for the loss of the soul, or loss of spiritual life, or loss of spiritual association. Not getting opportunity for spiritual advancement, spiritual association. He will cry. That we see here. Lord Ramachandra is lamenting the loss of separation of Mother Sita, who is the goddess of fortune. This is transcendental. This is not Shudra lamentation. This is not lamentation in ignorance. This is spiritual bliss. To feel to feel a separation or loss of separation and being very pained from the loss of the Supreme Lord, loss of the spiritual master, is actually transcendental. It is spiritual bliss. It is not ignorance. You should not think that it is the same as we feel lamentation when we lose our near and dear ones in bodily concept of life. That is different. Because as far as the spirit soul is concerned, the spirit soul does not die. Therefore, there is actually no loss. But in ignorance, we think that somebody is separated. But in spiritual world, everybody is connected eternally. All spiritual connections are eternal. All spiritual relationships are eternal. This we should know. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that we are eternally connected with the Lord, primarily as His servant. And then that relationship can be built upon as a friend, as a parent, as a lover. But primarily it is Dasya Rasa. Every jiva is connected with the Supreme Lord. Now when we get separated, we feel pain, we feel sometimes fear, even anxiety, right? You might have experienced that. When we get separated, we may feel pain, we may feel even anxiety, sometimes even fear. But this is natural. That is the nature of spirit in the spiritual world. But that is pervertedly reflected in this material world. See, sometimes a small child is separated from the parents. Few minutes is okay, but long time it will start crying. Right? 100%. Even as elders, see, we go back, we go to work, we go to college, we go to school, go to job, we come back to home. Every morning we may leave the home, but by evening or night we come back home. We feel comfortable. By getting back to home, and even looking at the very face of our mother, father, husband, wife, you will not even talk. Just that sense that, okay, they are with me, gives you a lot of solace. You might have experienced this. It's a very natural feel. Because this feeling is natural and original to the soul in the spiritual world. Between the connection between the Jiva and the Supreme Lord, Krishna and the Jiva. The soul is inseparable from the Lord, eternally connected. Every single soul, every one of us are eternally connected with the Lord. And we have all such feelings with Krishna, Radha Krishna in the spiritual world. So all that vocabulary is there stored in the soul. And the soul comes with that vocabulary into this material world. But only mistake what is happening is we apply those feelings with mundane persons of this world, and therefore we become disturbed. Prabhupada says one place that at one point of time, one has to get separated in this world. But in spiritual world, there is no separation. Then what is this separation being talked about? We'll come to that. There is no separation in the spiritual world. The relation between the Jiva and the Lord is eternally inseparable. That's why Prabhupada used the word part and parcel. We are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna also uses that word in the Bhagavad Gita in his own words. Mamayavamsho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. The word amsha means not part. Technically speaking, amsha means part and parcel. Prabhupada translates it like that. You know what is part and parcel? So many times you have heard this word part and parcel, part and parcel. Did you ever think about it? Why Prabhupada used the word part and parcel? We are all part and parcel of Krishna. We are not part of Krishna. See, these kind of explanations only you can get from Prabhupada or from the Vaishnava Acharyas. You will not get in any other Bhagavad Gita. So why we are called part and parcel, not part? Because there can be many individual parts separately situated. But part and parcel means they are together, not separate or not separated. It's called part and parcel. So we are not just part of Krishna and separated from Krishna. No. We are part of Krishna and with Krishna. Therefore part and parcel. So this is a very important understanding. Because we think we belong to this world, we belong to this family, that family, this company. When I'm in a company, I think I belong to this company. When I'm in school, I think I belong to this school. When I'm in the college, I think I belong to this college. When I'm in a particular neighborhood, I think I belong to this neighborhood. I think he's my neighbor. But that keeps on changing. That keeps on changing. Eternally it keeps on changing. Therefore it is not the truth. According to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, Lord Krishna describes very nicely, Yam hina nasato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sataha upayorapi drushtontas tvanayos tattva darshibihi. So Krishna says, Krishna defines what is truth and what is false. He defines. Truth means that which is eternal, sanatana, shashvata, and false means that which is temporary, is false. So anything which is of a temporary nature, temporary existence is false, finished. And anything which exists eternally is the truth. So that is why we say this world is false. In the context that it is temporary. Not that it is false in the sense that it really didn't exist. it does exist, but its existence is temporary. We are not like the Mayavadis whose understanding is completely wrong and completely different from the Vaishnava understanding, who really think that this world is false in all sense. We don't say this world is false in that sense. We say it is temporary. So the relationships, all the situations in this world. See, I am a boy, I am a youth, I am an adult, I am an old man, I am married, I am not married, I have a degree, I don't have a degree, I am educated, I am this, I am that. Everything is temporary. Keeps on changing. We keep on changing positions. So everything is temporary. Nothing is eternal. So therefore we say it is false in that sense. But in the spiritual world, everything is permanent. Everything is permanent. Just like Krishna, as a small baby in the lap of Mother Yashoda, is the eternal form of Krishna. Krishna, as a cowherd boy in Vrindavan, is his eternal form. It is not that this Krishna grew to become that. No. Krishna does not grow. There is no growth in spiritual world. Everything is eternal. Because if something goes through a growth process, it goes through a dwindling process also. Similarly, Krishna, as the lover of the gopis, in his youthful period, is also eternal form of the Lord as Shyamasundara. So Krishna's form as a child, as he killed Putana or on the lap of Mother Yashoda is eternal. Krishna stealing butter or eating mud and showing the whole universe, that form is also another eternal form. Not that Krishna grew and became that. No. Similarly, Krishna in Vrindavan with the gopis, that's another eternal form. So this we have to know. And the jivas are all connected with the Supreme Lord eternally. So we never get separated from Krishna. Therefore, there is no cause of lamentation. Actually speaking. In this world, we lament because we lose relationships. We lose things. Cause of lamentation is because you lose something. Either people, love, reciprocation, affection, or a good position. You lose, so you lament. You lose your child, lose your wife, lose your husband, lose your parents, lose your relative, lose your neighbor. You feel very sad about it, right? Yes, that is the nature of this world. Simply miserable. Simply miserable. Simply to impose misery. This world's position is such that it is there to simply impose misery. But we in ignorance think, okay, there can be something better here in this world. That is ignorance. That is why Prabhupada says one place very nicely, spiritual life teaches, Bhagavatam teaches. What does it teach? You accept Krishna as your child. You will never lament because Krishna will never leave you. You need not have to leave Krishna. You will not die. Krishna also will not die. So Krishna, if you accept Krishna as your son, eternally he will be with you. Like Mother Yashoda. So there is no lamentation. Mother Yashoda will never lose Krishna. Krishna will never lose Mother Yashoda because that relationship is spiritual and therefore it is eternal. Similarly, Prabhupada said, if you want to make friendship with Krishna. That will be eternal friendship. Arjuna will never die. Krishna will never die. And there will be no reason for breaking relationship as friends. Either from physical separation or because of misunderstanding. Sometimes we may have friends, but some misunderstanding will come. Big fight will come. You get separated. Or otherwise, maybe, you got job elsewhere, you got married, you got settled elsewhere, he got settled elsewhere, or he passed away. So many reasons for separation. But if you make Krishna your best friend, you will never have to lament any time in future. This is Bhagavatam's recommendation. Similarly, if you want to love somebody, love Krishna. You will never lose. Just like sometimes we see husband, wife. Among them also there could be misunderstanding. They may get separated sometimes. Or they may pass away. But if you love Krishna, that love will never be separated. And will never be disturbed by anything material. Because it is on a spiritual platform. That love continues eternally. So therefore we should learn to love Krishna. Then that reciprocation will be eternal. There cannot be any misunderstanding between the Jiva and the Lord at any point of time. So that relationship will continue. Just like the gopis and Krishna. Or, gopis and Krishna. So it is eternal. So like this, we should know from the Bhagavatam and from the Bhagavad Gita. This is Bhagavatam reference. In the Bhagavad Gita, the principle is given. Urdhva moolam adashakam ashvattam prahuravyayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavit. Prabhupada explains that also in the purport today. In the material world, such feelings of separation are only a perverted reflection. So whatever we see in this world is not reflection. Prabhupada used the word perverted reflection. We should note this. That's why we should read Prabhupada's books very, very carefully. Every word Prabhupada has thought and written. Every single word when Prabhupada is used in his purports or translations in his books, it is well thought. Perverted reflection, not just reflection. Perverted reflection means something which is not true. False representation. That can be actual representation. That can be false representation. So whatever we see in this world, we experience in this world is a false representation of the spiritual world. Therefore we have relationships, we have happiness, we have distress, we have joy, we have sorrow, we have profit, loss. So many experiences and feelings of, friendship, relationship of friendship, relationship of parental relationship, master-servant relationship, lover and beloved. But these are all not just representations, they're false representations. Therefore, we're not satisfied. So therefore, what Krishna is saying is, we should try to revive our original connection with Krishna. In Krishna consciousness. Then you will become happy. Therefore, make Krishna your master. Sometimes here we see, you may have a master, but suddenly something may happen and then you may lose the job, or the master may fire you. He may cut down your salary. He may demote you, or he may remove you from job. So many possibilities. Although you might have worked for him for 30 years, 40 years, sometimes it will happen. Or the company closed. What can be done? But you accept Krishna as master, like Hanuman accepted Lord Rama, never get separated. Wherever Lord Rama appears for his Leela, Hanuman also will appear. Similarly, Prabhupada said, Arjuna, for example, whenever Krishna comes to this world to perform his Leela, Arjuna also will accompany Krishna. So Arjuna never gets separated from Krishna. You see? So this is the beauty in Krishna consciousness. You will never get separated from Krishna. Nor will there be any reason for you to lament because of strained relationship or any such misgivings of this material world. No. So this Prabhupada said, this Krishna consciousness movement is training people how to revive our relationship with Krishna. See, Prabhupada used the word again here, revive. Again, you should note this point. That's why we should read all Prabhupada's books in this way. So from now we can begin reading Prabhupada's books from this angle, being very specific in understanding. Then your reading becomes very interesting. And you will also stand to benefit by reading Prabhupada's books. When you understand very deeply like this, it will leave a deep impression in your life. Why Prabhupada used the word revive your relationship with Krishna? That means in English when we use the word revive, it means already it was there. For some reason got disconnected. So you just try to reconnect it. That's all. Revive your relationship with Krishna. That means our relationship with Krishna can never get separated, disconnected at any point of time. Even when we are in Maya, today we are in Maya, even when we are in Maya, our connection with Krishna is still not disconnected. That is why we use the word Maya. In illusion you are thinking you are separate, you have nothing to do with Krishna, you are separated from Krishna. In illusion we are thinking. Oh, Krishna is your God. It's not your God then? Oh, Krishna is your father. Is not your father then? He is everybody's father. Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya Aham Bija Pradapita. Krishna said, all the living beings, I am the seed-giving father. Pitaham asya jagataha. So many direct statements Krishna has made in the Bhagavad Gita. Pitaham asya jagataha. Krishna said, I am the universal father of everybody. Not just ISKCON devotees. Or Hindus in India. Where did Krishna say that? Krishna said, Pitaham asya jagataha. Krishna didn't even say even human beings. He said, all living beings. So like this you have to understand scientifically, not in a sentimental way. So our connection with Krishna is eternal because it is spiritual. Prabhupada said very nicely, a very practical example. Just like parents are there, children are there. Sometimes the children fight with parents. Today it is not sometimes, most times. Earlier we used to say sometimes, now we are changing. Most times children fight with parents, they get separated. They make a separate house. Mostly they don't make separate house, they make separate house for the parents. So they get separated. Just because the children got separated from the parents, does it mean their relationship is lost? That he is no more the father of so-and-so daughter or son? Never. A crude example, at least in that body, in that life, till his death, even though he might be away from the parents, he might declare independence from the parents, still doesn't mean just because he's away from the parents, doesn't like the parents, doesn't mean that he is no more the father, no more the mother. It is never the situation like that. Even if you have separated from the parents, they still remain your mother and father. Right? Exactly like that Prabhupada says. Even though we have forgotten Krishna and have come to this world to enjoy independent of Krishna, our relationship with Krishna never gets cut off. It's a very, very important and beautiful point Prabhupada has made. One more example Prabhupada gave. Very nice example. Sometimes there could be another case. One is he fought with the parents, got cut off his relationship. Doesn't mean that his relationship is cut off. One more example is given in this regard. Sometimes when the son or daughter becomes mad, mentally deranged, loses his memory, then also he gets separated, apparently. But actually, he still is connected with the father and mother. They are his parents. Mentally, some derangement has happened. He is forgotten. Then, even if he is within the same house, his parents are in front of him walking. You might have heard of Alzheimer's. Your wife will be walking right in front of you. You will not recognize. Your father is walking right in front of you. You will not recognize. Because you have an Alzheimer's disease. It's like that. In the material world, we are affected with the Alzheimer's disease of forgetfulness of Krishna. So much so that even if we are coming in front of Krishna, we have with the Bhagavad Gita, we think we have nothing to do with Krishna. Okay, that may be Hindu God for the Indians or for ISKCON people or for Vaishnavas. They consider Vaishnavism as a designation. Because there are many other isms also in the world. Vaishnavism is not a designation. It's not an ism. It is the constitutional status of the soul. Just like we say Indians. Constitutionally, we are Indians. We are Indian nationals. This is a good example. Like that, constitutionally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivere Swarupa Haya Krishna Nitya Dasa. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Krishna Nitya Dasa. Even if you forget, that relationship is eternal. Actually, this brings in great solace and freedom from anxiety. Oh, I'm eternally connected with Krishna. Gives a big relief. Very big relief. Think about it. Krishna is everything. How much relief it gives you. Just like the lost child meeting the parent gives so much relief from anxiety and fear of existence of everything. The moment the lost child meets the parent. So like that, when the jiva meets the Lord, there is complete peace, spiritual peace and solace. So this is the teaching of the Krishna consciousness movement, the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita, that we should revive our relationship with Krishna, not become busy with reviving our connections in this world, which is anyway temporary. Sometimes, we try to revive the lost contacts, old friends. Of course, nothing wrong, but I'm saying, speaking from a philosophical angle. And we keep searching our old contacts and and you become... See, sometimes you have experienced. When you revive your old connection, you feel very nice about it, right? These are all stemming from the spiritual world, all these feelings. But in a perverted way. So you give a proper routing and channelizing towards Krishna, everything becomes perfect. Then one may say, is there no scope of relationship in this world and with other jivas other than Krishna? Is that our philosophy? Is that what Bhagavata is saying? You don't have any connection with anybody, only with Krishna. Is that what Bhagavatam is saying? What do you think? No. We have connection with every single jiva is a fact, is an eternal fact. But our present bodily connections are temporary and therefore false. If somebody is my friend, if it has to be true, as per the test of Krishna, definition of Krishna, he has to be my eternal friend. Then that is true. Otherwise it is false. Somebody is supposed to be my neighbor. He has to be my eternal neighbor. Something has to be my house. It has to be my eternal house. If it is not going to be, then it is false, meaning temporary. So every relationship is like that. Krishna makes another important point at this, in this regard. Those who are intelligent and wise, they don't go behind anything temporary. They work for anything which is of an eternal value. This is a very important point. Anybody who is intelligent, the definition of an intelligent person or a wise person is this. What is that? It's not that how many books you have read, how much knowledge you have. That is not the definition of intelligence according to Bhagavad Gita. The sign of intelligence or being intelligent is if you're working towards anything permanent, of a permanent value, then you are intelligent. That is why if you become Krishna conscious, you are considered intelligent. Krishna yai bhaje se bada chatu. You become naturally intelligent because you are working towards eternal life, eternal existence, eternal relationships. So this is a very important point one should note. So we should work for this in our life. Otherwise, again, there will be cause of lamentation for losing. Unnecessarily. Lamentation. So I was talking about the point, how are we connected only with Krishna and nobody else? Is that what Bhagavatam is teaching? No. We are connected with every jiva, but spiritually. But that connection can happen only after a primary connection with Krishna, not otherwise. Why? Prabhupada explains very nicely. Just like you take my own case. We are 4 siblings, 4 children to my parents. I am the last. We are 2 boys, 2 girls. I have 2 sisters and 1 elder brother. I am the last, youngest. So we are 4 of us. So we consider and feel ourselves as brother and sisters. Natural, right? Why? Okay, now so many sisters are sitting here, so many brothers are sitting here. Of course, out of social relationship, out of courtesy, I may say sisters and brothers. But really, no, you really don't feel. Hope you get me, right? Okay, I may say out of courtesy, out of maturity, okay, they're my brothers, sisters, but really don't get that feel. I have my brother and sister in Chennai. Presently, they are living there. So I feel natural and realistic to say that he is my brother, they are my sisters. But I may say you are my sister, my brother, but that's still, superficial, external, right? You know why? Prabhupada says, very, very important point you should note. Because for my 2 sisters and 1 brother, the father and mother is common. Therefore, they became my own brothers and sisters and brother. But as far as others are concerned, you are all not from my mother and father. So I may consider you, not that you are, but I may consider. Out of maturity, out of social need, out of courtesy, out of good relation building, whatever. But it's not the same. That is a fact. That is a fact. Because your mother father is not my mother father. Or my mother father is not your mother father. As simple as that. Exactly like that. When you understand Krishna as the supreme father of every jiva in this world, then you become connected with every jiva in this world. Not otherwise. Not in bodily concept. You may think, he's my brother, my sister. It's a bodily concept. It's not true. So, when you realize your relationship with Krishna as Krishna's son or daughter, either way, and then when you understand that every other jiva is also Krishna's part and parcel, Krishna's son or daughter, then with this proper spiritual understanding, spiritual knowledge, you actually get connected with every jiva. This is a basic understanding I am saying. Now, we do have specific relationships with every jiva, but that is in the spiritual world. Presently, we are unaware of. That is called what is called as Swarupa Siddhi. Swarupa Siddhi means realizing your original nature. What are you? It's called Swarupa Siddhi. Presently, our Siddhi is Jada Siddhi. I think I am this body, I am Kannadiga, I am a Mysorean, I am an Andhra man, I am a Tamilian. All bodily concept of life. Not true. You see, I have moved from Chennai to Karnataka now. What's my position then? I moved from Andhra to Chennai. What's my position then? I was in Andhra, I moved to Chennai. From Chennai, I moved to Karnataka. There was a proposal, I was supposed to move to another place also. What's my position then? Am I Kannadiga or a Tamilian or a Andhraite or what am I? Or if I move to Pakistan, am I a Pakistani? This is illusion. I am a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna, is the true identity of the soul. So my original nature in spiritual world, what I am, that is confidential. What you are in the spiritual world is confidential. The Guru will reveal to you when you perfect your sadhana. Therefore, you have to rise early in the morning, chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra, give up sinful life, follow the rules given by the Acharya. If you want to get inspiration and reason for practicing these rules, because sometimes we become demotivated, discouraged. Practicing so long, what am I going to achieve by all these things anyway? Let me compromise. So if you want motivation, this is the motivation. For the time being, if you follow this sadhana given by Prabhupada particularly, then the result would be you will realize your original true nature in the spiritual world, what you are. What you are in connection with Krishna. Are you a gopi or a gopa or a flower in Vrindavan, in the spiritual world, in Vaikuntham, or a water? What are you? Are you a peacock? That the Guru will reveal. That's called Swarupa Siddhi. But we should not become haste and try to act like that today. That is called Sahajiyism. Today in Vrindavan, Mayapur, unfortunately if you go to these holy places, immaturely they are behaving that they are so and so in the spiritual world already. Just like for some Prabhus, they are giving the Diksha name as Radha Dasi. Because he is supposed to be Radharani's servant in spiritual world as a gopi or a manjari. So therefore, he is initiated as Radha Dasi. This is outright bogus. Sahajiyism. And then this devotee is dressed like a gopi. And then there are descriptions by the Goswamis. Each gopi, what are their feelings, how they dress, what color dress they put, how they talk, how they sing. So this Prabhu is dressed like a female and made to talk, act, and do all such things. So this is going on. Then one more devotee is made to act like a peacock. Because he is supposed to be peacock in Vaikuntha, peacock in Goloka. So what's going on? So immaturely we should never imitate this Swarupa Siddhi position. We will fall down. Prabhupada said, if you imitate, it will not stand long time. What is the test? The test is whether you are falling prey to material emotions and material relationships. That is the test. If material feelings are also pulling you simultaneously along with so-called spiritual feelings, that means you are still in Maya. Suppose you cry in front of Krishna. Sometimes people cry. And then you also cry when your dog passes away, your cat dies, or your neighbor died, your son passed away, your beloved passed away. That means you are in Maya. That is material. It is not spiritual. That means the person is not advanced spiritually. He has not even understood basics of Bhagavad Gita, that there is nothing to be lamented as far as material life is concerned. But he has not even understood that first First lesson in Bhagavad Gita. Then just you crying in front of Krishna, that's not going to make any difference. Okay, of course, some value is there, but no big substantial spiritual value. So these things has to be understood properly. So we should not jump in a haste to behave like a Siddha Purusha and all these things. No. Then coming to this point of separation, Prabhupada says that feelings of separation is more valued than feelings of meeting. Both are transcendental bliss in spiritual world, but feelings of separation increases the intensity of one's bliss. I will make one statement. I actually wanted to share more things, but there is a paucity of time. There's one statement Krishna makes, one or two statements I'll make and we'll close. This is when Krishna disappeared from the gopis' presence while doing rasa dance. Then later Krishna reappeared. At that time Krishna told the gopis, my dear gopis, I'll read verbatim what Prabhupada has written in Krishna book. It appears that my devotees are very much attached to me, but sometimes I do not reciprocate their feelings properly in order to increase their love for me more and more. Instead of forgetting me, they feel their loving sentiments for me increase. So sometimes Krishna, when he separates himself from the bhakta, that is to increase his intensity of union. The love of the bhakta becomes more intensified. Now, if you want to understand what this means, I'll give you an example. In our own life, you're always with the parents. Okay? You get separated from the parents for whatever reason. Suppose you've gone for education abroad. You're in Australia. You got a seat in Australia. You're studying in Australia. Your parents are in Mysore, but you got a seat in Australia. For the next 3 years or 4 years, you're going to be away from them. Actually thinking of the parents, you develop even more affection and attachment to them than when you were with the parents in Mysore. Hope you get it right. You all have that feel, that experience. You can appreciate this. When something which I like, which I'm attached to, is separated, that only brings in more attachment and more connection, not separation really. Exactly like that. Again, this is a perverted form of the spiritual feeling and spiritual reality. That's why the only unfortunate thing is Maya has fabricated everything so nicely, branded it so nicely. She has made everything in this world appear real. We think this is Goloka Vrindavan. That is why we strongly relate with everything and we don't separate. And we're very much concerned about separation because we think this is Goloka, this is Vaikuntham. Everything here is Vaikuntha. That Maya has perfectly played and misled us. If we can understand this, life is successful. So as you feel separation from a beloved, from even an object, you feel very pained. But that is false. This is material. If you can develop that same feeling for Krishna and Guru, that is spiritual perfection. In fact, today we have more opportunity to practice this than when Krishna was there 5,000 years back, Prabhupada was there 50 plus years back. Service in separation is a very big subject called Vipralamba Seva. It is more relished by the devotees than service in Sambhoga, union with the Lord. It is more appreciated and more valuable and more perfect, more intense. So actually today we are doing service in separation of Prabhupada, and that will intensify your bhakti even more. So we can talk about this later another time. But here as we see, Lord Ramachandra is feeling separation of Mother Sita. This is transcendental. This is not bodily concept. This is not like a husband losing a wife in this material world and all the life is thinking. That is bodily concept of life. That is not transcendental. That only gives misery. It is not transcendental bliss. But Lord Ramachandra in that grief is experiencing unlimited joy, transcendental bliss. This is spiritual. So like that, devotees also should serve Krishna and the Acharya in separation, which is more appreciable. So I'll stop here. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I have an announcement. We will be celebrating Sri Vyasa Puja of Srila Prabhupada. Is it 126th appearance day of Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada Vyasa Puja Mahamotsav ki jai. It is called Vyasa Puja because Prabhupada represents Vyasa Deva. You may think Vyasa Puja is supposed to be next month, right? July is Guru Purnima, what they say. Vyasa Deva's appearance day. Then why Prabhupada's appearance is called as Vyasa Puja? It's supposed to be Prabhupada Puja, right? Not Vyasa Puja. Vyasa Puja is Vyasa's appearance. Because Prabhupada represents Vyasa Deva. Therefore, his appearance is called Vyasa Puja. So, is the 126th appearance, divine appearance in this world on August 20th, 2022. It's a Saturday. So, devotees are requested to kindly submit their Vyasa Puja offerings to Srila Prabhupada at the earliest. The last date for submitting your offerings to Prabhupada is Monday, 5th July 2022. You can meet the devotees in this regard for more information. You can even email directly to vyasapuja@iskonmysore.org. vyasapuja@iskonmysore.org. In Vyasa Puja, you basically glorify Prabhupada, his qualities, his the Guru Tattva, his Leela, his contribution. Exclusively you glorify Prabhupada only. Don't say, this Prabhu introduced me to Krishna kindness, he is my Sutradhari, because of him only I got Prabhupada. Direct, no, you should not write all those things. You directly glorify Prabhupada. By Prabhupada's mercy, I have become a devotee, I began chanting, my life has changed, it's become more peaceful, I am becoming more spiritual, more understanding the principles of Bhagavad Gita much better than earlier. Like that, you can write your realization and pray to Prabhupada for his blessings. You can meet devotees in this regard. In the notice board also we are put about this Vyasa Puja, kindly go to that. Then we will be beginning the Sunday Sankirtan school for children. Haribol. So this is for all the children from 1st standard to 7th standard. Every Sunday we'll have a simple program, not like the heavy Bhagavatam class. Simple Bhagavad Gita shlokas, Sankirtan, bhajans, dancing, feasting, giving small dose. So for more details, you can contact the temple devotees. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.